Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our quick publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms, and we have our own apps for Apple and Android. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Nina Kauser Show. It's an early kickoff. I don't usually like them, but you know what? I've formed new habits and, it doesn't bother me all so much now. I kind of like them. You just kind of hope that the Reds don't ruin your weekend, and certainly not the case this time round. 2-0 against Brighton away. Fabulous stuff. We're very happy. And joining me on this podcast, I am delighted to have these two excellent guests on with me. It's been a while since we've all got together and spoken about Liverpool, so it should be a very easy, relaxed kind of pod. So without further ado, let me introduce my guest. First up, he's a familiar voice on Desi. He's a familiar voice on the main Anfield Index podcast, which, you totally should be listening to, because otherwise what you're doing with your lives. It is Mr. Kam Brent. He's also a friend as well. Last on the priority list for me. Kam, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Nina. How are you?
I'm really good, thanks. I've just kind of noticed as well, one of your fellow co-guests is joining us live on Discord as well. So hi, Lisa Marie, who also guests on this pod as well. She's just making sure that you don't step out of bounds. She's got my back.
She'll put that voice on. Put that voice on.
Yep, she's got my back 100%. And joining Kam on this podcast, I am thrilled to have this guy. Oh, he's an absolute legend. And it's been long overdue since he's been on a podcast. So you know what? I'm delighted to have him on. It is Sri. Sri, welcome back.
Hey, Nina. Glad to be back. Obviously, timings don't help. So I'm just hoping the daylight kicks in so the timings get better.
Absolutely. Well, it is great to have Sri on as well. And all school listeners will remember how much he absolutely takes a mick out of me, and how I absolutely allow it, because again, one of my dear friends. So I'm enjoying this. Today, this pod is very much going to feel like me just chilling out with my friends talking about the Reds. And you know what? It's always the case here. It's always the case. And you know what? Before I get any further, guys, we will have a caller on. If anyone wants to join, anyone joining us live, welcome to the Discord live chat. If you want to call in, give us a shout. I want to first, before I go to our first caller, I want to get your thoughts in terms of just your brief takeaways from that game. And I will come to Sri first. Sri, you're kind of left with like a feeling after a game, how you're feeling and stuff. Myself and Kam kind of just spoke about it briefly before we got in the pod and before you joined us live. So I want to get your thoughts. I mean, how'd you feel after that?
I think this is one of those like job done and nothing else matters.
Yeah.
It's more of that feeling. Okay, we needed the 3 points. We got the 3 points, and lots of things can be talked about, but ultimately that is the key thing we needed to take out. And so 3 points keep the pressure on, keep the chase on, and that's what matters. There will be a lot more games like this. We have now had a sequence of really tight games, but ultimately the key thing is ignoring the midweek, we are still getting the job done. So I'm assuming maybe after a small break, maybe the FA Cup, it might turn again back to how we were before.
I like that a lot. And Kam, people listen to you a lot on this podcast, and you say, 2 goals is like one of the most dangerous score lines to have. And we spoke about this, but obviously I've not got it on air on the pod. So I'm just going to throw that back at you.
2-0 is probably the most dangerous scoreline in that teams can tend to relax, but then you're playing a Brighton team who just are struggling to score goals at home this season, so it maybe wasn't as dangerous a scoreline as you could normally have. So it was professional job, competent, well done, 3 points, move on to the Arsenal.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that one will be one where we might have to put a little bit more energy in, but we'll have to watch this space. And you know what? Let's go straight to our caller. Again, a familiar voice on the Nina Kauser show. He kicks off the calling side for us. He doesn't really need an introduction. I'm going to give him one. It is the awesome, insightful Kieran joining us again on Saturday. Welcome back, Kieran.
Thank you.
It's absolutely wonderful to have you on, my friend. The floor is yours. You know what to do. Take it away.
It was a very fairly comfortable one. I didn't think they really troubled us that much at all. I thought we were by far the better team, and we deserved the 3 points. I mean, on the first goal, I think how on earth is the goalkeeper not on his marching orders? I just do not know, because it was a dangerous challenge. I think personally, if Diaz doesn't put the ball in the back of the net, I do think he is off. But look, it doesn't really matter. Then the main thing is we got the 3 points. Obviously, I think the penalty really. Obviously, I think once it went 2-0. I was certain it was game over. I didn't think they were going to come back, to be honest. So, hopefully Salah is okay after going down and he looked hurt. So let's hope. Let's fingers crossed it's not too serious.
Absolutely. And you know what, Kieran, you've got some really, really good talking points there, and we're going to address them, and certainly the Sanchez one later on in the pod. But thank you so much for calling. We'll definitely go back to your points. And I think, you've given us some good talking points there. And Kam, I'm going to come to you because you just kind of touched on something there. Brighton aren't in the best of form, and you kind of look at the team that Liverpool went with. Were you slightly surprised with Klopp going with a very, very sort of pretty much his starting lineup, if you will, just a few, kind of changes here and there, he could have potentially maybe played Chimikas instead of, Robbo. He could have maybe featured Gomez in this one. Were you surprised that Klopp kind of went with like a strong team per se? Nice to see Firmino on the bench as well, by the way.
Yeah, it's good to have Firmino back on the bench. No, I wasn't really surprised at the lineup, to be honest. Klopp doesn't tend to rotate his back four. We know that, although this season he has been rotating Matip to protect Matip as much as possible, which has been working brilliantly with Konate. Robbo had a rest a couple of weeks ago. And so Robbo's fresh. He's raring to go. Robbo doesn't really get tired. Trent, you could possibly say, you'd like to look after him. But again, Trent had a rest a couple of weeks ago as well. They both had a rest in the FA Cup game. So I'm not surprised there. We know where the rotation is going to happen. That's always going to be in the midfield. Yeah. And you're seeing that now with the way he's managing the Thiago minutes, the way he's managing the Naby minutes, the way he's managing the Henderson minutes as well, because Henderson, we know, is having issues with intensity in games, and that's from playing too many games. So it's good to see that he's rotating the midfield, and I think we'll start seeing a lot more rotation in the front three eventually going forwards now, because we've got 5 players who can play in the front three, 5 fit players who can play in the front three. So I'm not so surprised this week that he went with the team he did. I think we'll see probably 3 changes to the starting lineup come Wednesday against Arsenal.
Interesting. Yeah, it's great that potentially now we could rotate up and change up the attack as well, which is absolutely grand. And Sri, what about you? The starting lineup, way back when there'd be meltdowns, but I want to get your thoughts on. Were you surprised, or how did you feel about the starting lineup?
No, this was pretty much the team I expected. I was maybe hoping Henderson might not start and might come in because, again, the fixtures, as I said before, there's an Arsenal game, and I believe the next is FA Cup, which is where I think we will rotate again. So it's a game more. And also Konate is not there, and I don't think Klopp is convinced enough to play Gomez. So Gomez can't play right back, can't play centre back, which means Trent, Matip and Van Dijk get picked automatically. I think Robbo can go because Robbo didn't play in between. So Robbo can play. Simicas will obviously play in the FA Cup. The midfield is where we had slight options, but again, I think Oxlade was out, Thiago was coming back, and Thiago is clearly 60 minutes. I've seen repeatedly now, it's 60 minutes and done, so obviously it's 60 or a 30. So obviously this game he got in 30 minutes. So I think we were limited by players being out and maybe Klopp not preferring to put certain players in. I think more or less this team picked itself. I think Bobby Firmino had to come on bench next week is Arsenal. If it's Arsenal, he will get fit somehow. It's the anti-Neymar thing when his sister's birthday comes, when he rules himself, he sees Arsenal and gets fit somehow. That's what happens with Bobby Firmino. So I think Bobby Firmino will play the next game. I'm hoping he starts. It's Arsenal, one of his favourite opponents.
I'm glad you mentioned that because when you said that, I kind of smiled because we do have great memories of Roberto Firmino just tearing Arsenal a brand new one. Right, back to this game, and Shri, I'm going to stick to you because I want to get your thoughts on this because I thought Brighton pretty much in both halves actually they came out swinging, like they started off really bright.
Yeah, so for me, Brighton are kind of an interesting combination in the sense that they do press, but they do like to keep the ball as well. So Liverpool, either people sit back or we have a proper attacking team where we can counter. Here in this case, they are comfortable holding the ball and they do try to get the ball away. I think it's one of the reasons why I think we have struggled a bit with Brighton very recently. Obviously, we have had scored a lot of goals before, but recently we have struggled. So they aren't a bad team by any means. And I think the fixtures are also catching up. You can see that the rhythm isn't just that we are just getting through games. It's a phase where we are trying to get through games. So I think it was a controlled performance. We weren't good by any stretch except Luis Diaz was out of the world. Phenomenal. But otherwise, I think we were in it. I don't know whether we intended to be in third gear, but it almost looked like we were just playing in third gear, not forcing the issue. But we were controlled in it. For me, it felt like, again, not in any wrong manner, it felt like we had a team of 11 Wijnaldum's genie playing. That's what it felt like. It's like nothing eventful happened. It was there, but again, if some people didn't do the job, you would have noticed, but everybody did their job. It was like no drama, no fuss. We got through the game.
We did absolutely. And Kam, I'm going to come to you because, like you said, there was no stress in that game, despite Brighton's early kind of pressure. Do you think that? Do you think Liverpool were just kind of feeling out their opponents and then just sort of just controlling the game? I want to get your thoughts.
I don't know about Liverpool controlling the game. I don't think the first 10-15 minutes we controlled the game. I thought Brighton started extremely well. They were looking to get in behind. There was a couple of good defence splitting passes. There was one.
Happy at 4 minutes, weren't there? There was something.
Yeah. There was that shot from the little snide rat up top in the first 5-10 minutes. Well, that had Alisson's, looked like he had it covered, but it was still a pretty decent shot. It would have been interesting to see what would have happened if it was on target. So they started really well, and they made things difficult for us. We looked really off the first 10-15 minutes. Felt we didn't, the passing was off. They were hassling us. They were into us, but then slowly but surely, we then started to get the ball a bit better. Started to take control, and then obviously we had that wonderful moment where Matip puts in a beautiful pass, and it's an excellent run from Diaz to stay onside and get the header in. And then obviously, we can talk about now why Stuart Atwell felt it wasn't a sending off.
Yeah, and before we get there, Kam, I have a caller on who is your namesake, so I'm just going to bring him in. Kam, welcome back to the Nina Kauser Show.
Glad to be back.
It's great to have you back, my friend. The floor is yours. I've seen you in the Discord there, putting in some of your thoughts on the game. So the floor is yours.
Yeah, I heard you mention that you thought Brighton started bright. I think they did as well. They started off aggressive, but like you mentioned, I think that we didn't overcommit to that first few minutes. And I think they created two or three chances, but pretty low value in terms of high quality chances. So I think that we definitely approached it the right way, and got hold of the game right after that. So.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on there, because they did in that first half have 3 shots and 1 was on target. So yeah, you're absolutely spot on with very little threat from them. But keep sorry to interrupt you there, Kam. Carry on.
No, you're good. So then I just had a few things I wanted to talk about. I don't have much time, but I thought Diaz's performance was terrific. Man of the match for me. I think that the way that he carried the ball and made us threatening. The way he tracked back and made 3 or 4 tackles, coming back and covering for Robbo. I think even one of them turned into a shot for Mo. So a press leading to a shot, which is just always good to see how someone can fit in so well so early. If anybody has anything to say about that.
No, we will do, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us, Kam. We are going to discuss all them things, and I saw in your chat as well that you were absolutely disgusted with the referee. And Sri, I'm going to come to you because Kam Branch, I've got to call him by surname because I will confuse myself. Kam Branch just kind of spoke about Luis Diaz there on 15 minutes. I mean, that assist from Matip. I mean, so majestic. I mean, it was Trent-esque, just looking up, pinging that pass. Diaz, absolutely brave. What can you say about the guy? It was great to see him score as well, because he's had very, very nearly chances. And you think, he's been bright in every single game that he's played, and it's rightly so that he kicked off things with the goal scoring. Talk to me about the goal and the events that preceded it, because my word, Mike Dean and Stuart Atwell. I mean, what is going on? That is for me a red all day, every day.
So first things first, as Klopp would say, Premier League player of the month, Matip. Give the respect the man deserves, especially considering the form he's been in. And that pass, actually, when I saw the first replay, I couldn't understand what was happening because it happened so fast. When they showed the replay, I didn't realize it was Salah. I was thinking, this is offside. They're going to call it back. Then I realized that the ball was for the run from the middle from Diaz, and he was really brave. And it's a clear red card. I have no idea. I mean, the only reason is he's a goalkeeper and the ball went in. They didn't want to maybe do the dual punishment, which has been discussed, like you give a penalty and the red card. It's like the goal is already scored. So why do you need to give a red card? But you cannot take events happening into context. That it's a foul is a foul, and it's in the box. It's a violent conduct. So and again, it's limited in terms of what can only say it's a red card or not a red card. It is a red card. I don't know why the ref didn't even give I am assuming there was no yellow card, right? That's what I think. It happened too fast. I don't think there was a yellow card even, and I have no idea what's happening. It's a clear red card, but I mean, I have no clue how to apply rules. So I'm stumped because as Kam already said, if that was not a goal, I'm convinced that would have been a red card. They have actually taken the post-event into consideration and decided not to send him off, which is absolutely absurd.
It's just madness, isn't it, Kam? I mean, and Kam Branch, I think Kam's left us now. He's just said, apologies for confusing you. It doesn't take much. It really doesn't take much when I'm the host, so don't stress yourself out. Kam, back to you. I mean, I'm sure you've got something to say about that, because that was absolutely disgusting. His foot was high. It was high.
It was high. I mean, it was actually his knee that caught him just below the face. Now, if his knee was a touch higher, who knows how much damage, injury could have been caused to Diaz there. So why he's not given the red card, only Stuart Atwell knows. Why he's not referred it for Mike Dean to go and look at the screen, again, only Stuart Atwell knows. It's not Mike Dean's fault in this instance. It's totally on Stuart Atwell. Stuart Atwell has shown complete incompetence in operating the protocols of VAR for me. I mean, he shouldn't have even had to refer it to Mike Dean. He should have just said, dangerous play, violent conduct. He's kicked a player with his knee in the chest, practically his throat. It's a straight red. It's irrelevant whether the goal is given or not, because it's still violent conduct. That for me overrides everything. It's the potential of causing injury to a player. I mean, there's something in the rules about that. If there's a potential of causing injury to a player, it's a red card. The double jeopardy cannot apply, I think, in this instance, because it wasn't a penalty, because the goal was scored. So unless Mike Dean had said penalty, then the double jeopardy possibly comes into play. But because it was so fast, I didn't realise at the time, because of the speed of the incident, that Diaz was on the floor. We're all watching the ball. It's only till the replays come up, and it's only when you see the replay from behind the goal that you realise the extent of how dangerous it was. And at that point, it's like, it's a red card. What else is there to say? They've checked for the offside. There's no offside. So there's no problem. So it's still a red card. The keeper is out of control. He hasn't got anywhere near the ball. There's so many things going on here in that moment to just say it's a red card. The fact that Stuart Atwell is an incompetent moron, it's catastrophically bad that
we've had a
decision he's
week
made.
of dreadful officiating and things, because the one at Inter, I mean, he wasn't awfully great either.
Well, yeah,
Nina, sorry, but there was, I remember, was it a week or something ago when again Sanchez had something quite similar, I think, and there it was in between. I think he got a yellow card there, if I remember. I'm not very sure about this, but again, the point is that is what VAR is there to apply the rule. I don't know why they are trying to interpret the situation or trying to contextualize the event. It's gone to VAR, you apply the rule and finish it. I don't know why they are interpreting it and it's gone wrong. And this is the whole problem doing VAR. We didn't want subjective interpretation of things. Is it violent contact? Yes. It's a foul. That's it. The post event should not come into play, as Kam said. What I was trying to say is that is why probably they have not given, which is wrong, since they contextualize the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got a fair few listeners here joining us live on Discord, and they're all absolutely agreeing with both of your points. And Phil Bart's there saying, endangering an opponent through reckless and uncontrolled play, straight up red. People agreeing with Phil there. I have to agree. I think you need to stop looking at the fine margins of, oh well, they've scored, so it doesn't matter. What if that player has been out? That could have potentially caused that player to be sidelined for months. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is. Anywhere else on the pitch, that is a red. So why change it because, it's the goalkeeper, or, they've scored? Rules are rules. You don't bend them.
I think it's almost complete incompetence. I put in the chat that I think he left his cards in the locker room and couldn't get them till halftime. He didn't pull it out one time in the first half, and I think I like to think that he's more incompetent and didn't have cards rather than actually thinking that that's not a red card.
Well, you know what? We're kind of used to piss poor officiating. We really, really are. And Kam, I'm going to come to you because I have a question here in Discord. I'm trying to keep a hold of the chat for once. Look at me trying to be professional. I have a question here from You Never Walk Alone Foodie, and he wants to know, what do you think of Naby's game today? And was he the right person to start the game, or would you have started with someone else? And if yes, who? Now, it's a really interesting one because we literally just spoke about managing minutes. And, Naby Keita potentially does need to get minutes. You look at what you have in terms of the bench. You need to manage Thiago's minutes, that's for sure. You look at the midfield options. Yep, there's Elliott there, there's Jones there as well. And Milner, who I think you probably bring in just to kind of, ease the game off, or, to see the game out in the last few minutes if you need to. I mean, so given what is on the bench in terms of the potentials that could have started, potentially, Elliott or Jones. I mean, what do you make of that comment? Because I don't think he was I think people jump on his back, and I'm not saying you never walk along food he is, but I feel like people like to find, put his performance under a microscope. I think it was great. Can't think when he got 90 minutes. I thought he was decent. I thought he was pretty decent today. I don't think he was overly great. I felt like on the left, certainly at the beginning of the game, I felt like, Lamptey and Robbo was turning into a bit of a battle, because I felt like Naby was probably finding his feet and his form in that game. And then when Diaz upped his game as well, I felt like that little battle kind of fizzed out a little bit. And Naby was doing more of his covering work. And Naby, let's not forget, had a shot in the second half and also won the penalty as well.
Yeah, I mean, Naby was, he was decent. He wasn't setting the world alight or anything like that. He had a couple of sloppy moments, especially in the first half. There was that one pass where he just passed it almost blind into the middle of the pitch, just by the centre circle, and put us under pressure. And we recovered from that. I mean, I'm a big Naby Keita fan, as most people know. I want to see him playing as many minutes as possible. I think his skill set is phenomenal. He's got so much in his locker, and I think his defensive work is extremely underrated, and he doesn't get enough praise for that for me. So I'm happy to see him being played the way he is, being used the way he is, being managed the way he is, because we have an excellent footballer in Naby Keita. Thiago is the wrong side of 30. Thiago's not going to be around forever. We've got to manage these two together. They both play better on the left than they do on the right. So to be using these two on the left and managing the 90 minutes between them, I think is absolutely ideal. I know Curtis Jones can play that, but Curtis Jones is still learning a lot. I mean, this game might have been a good game for Curtis because, again, Brighton at home, not the best team this season. But Brighton have given us difficult games in the past, especially at the Amex. Graham Potter does well against us. So, yeah, I was more than happy to see Naby starting today. No issues with it whatsoever. And I think what you'll see now is Naby will be the one on the bench against Arsenal. It'll be Thiago starting. I think these two are going to be the two most rotated players for the end of the season. And that's how it should be for me. Because those two are also the two players that seem to spend more time away from the first 11 than anyone else this season. Or, generally anyone. Well, Naby definitely. So, managing his minutes, keeping him fit, we've got a baller on our hands.
We really do. Sri, I'm going to come to you regarding Naby Keita and the potential options there, because I think, I think it's a fair comment by You Never Walk Alone Foodie, but I agree with Kam. Like, the two most senior players that have to fill that role are Thiago and Naby. Unfortunately for both, is the fact fitness is the issue. It's not the skill set or the qualities into the mix as well there, because right, and that's where he would play. So your thoughts on how you thought?
In terms of Naby, as I said in the beginning, no coincidence that Naby is 4 letters and Genie is 4 letters. But keeping those things, I think it was more of a tactical view. He wanted to play one. We don't know again whether Thiago could have started and played 60 minutes, whether he was fit enough to play 60 minutes, we don't know. I believe he missed a training session. So maybe there was recovery going on. He couldn't start. That is one. And I think in terms of the midfield, the pressing is very good. So we needed to keep the ball. I think that is why he went for Keita more than, Curtis Jones, who are basically these three are the options on the left. Naby Keita, Jones and Thiago. Well, we have, Hendo, Oxlade and Elliott on the right. So I think Thiago maybe was not fit enough to start. I believe he will now start at Arsenal because I think they're just going to do the 60-30 combination. One game, one guy plays 60, other game, the other guy plays 60. Nobody's going to play 90, looks like that, at least on the left, unless it's Jones who I believe will play in the FA Cup then. So I think it's going to be a 60-30 match. But in this game, I think just because we didn't want to lose the ball, we wanted to keep hold of the ball and more of a tactical point of view. As Kam said, there was nothing outstanding from Gini. I actually said Gini. It reminded me so much of Gini's performance in terms of occupying his space, covering the man. It was like nothing outstanding, nothing bad. A typical 7 out of 10 tactical space covering performance.
Yeah, I'd have to echo that. He didn't give me any concerns. I just felt like, he did a decent shift, and both those players do have to be managed. Now, Sri, I'm going to stick with you because a lot of people like talking about this guy, so I want to talk about him as well. What did you make of Diaz, just overall performance? Because I feel like this game, like you said, there wasn't many talking points in this game, but we got to talk about Diaz because I think he just really, really excites a lot of people. So what did you make of him today and just the front three in general?
No, it's almost unreal how easily he has settled in. He's not played in the league. He comes from the Portuguese league. It almost seems like he's played in this. It's not only the player being excellent that has helped, but the ease in which he's settled into the system. I think it also shows how thorough our scouting is. That it almost feels like this guy was developed to play for Liverpool. It's almost like he came through an academy system where we all play the same system and he fits in. It's an absolute fit. His out to in runs are amazing. His first touch, especially with the defender on his back. Today he had one touch where he was fouled, I think. Was just simply brilliant. I think it's going to be really tough to bench him because he looks like a guy who can again run for like 120 minutes, even if extra time games goes in. I think he's unreally fit, touchwood. I think it's going to be very difficult to bench him. I think only in terms of keeping the load management is the only reason he can be benched. I think it's also come at a good time when, say, Mane and Salah aren't in the greatest of forms. They are doing all the things like, and thankful the goal has only 3 posts because Salah has hit all 3 now, I believe. Thankfully, there is no 4th to hit yet, so hopefully the goals will come back again. But otherwise, I think it's also come at a time where he's been the huge shining spark with Firmino being injured, Jota being injured, coming back on and off, and Mane and Salah not firing at their best. I think it's almost like a lone spark, and it's something for us to look forward to in terms of the current form. So outstanding. I think clearly man of the match by quite a distance for me.
Well, you know what? A few agree. Caller Kam obviously called him out to be his man of the match. We've got Lubo there saying Diaz was the man of the match for him as well. I'm just keeping up with the chat. Kam, we've got some chit-chat here about going back to the Naby thing, and Lubo saying that's the 100th game for Naby for Liverpool. Even I confuse Ginny for Naby now. So there you go, Shri. People are agreeing with you. Phil Bart's there saying Fab was also class and worked great with Naby. And, people are just sort of saying that, Fab is just, quietly just absolutely phenomenal. And I want to get your thoughts, Kam, on Diaz. And maybe if you want a response to what people are saying in chat there.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's right. I mean, especially about Fab as well. Class will always play well with class. So,
with only his 3rd booking of the season for Fab as well. So, I love the fact that he absolutely marshals that midfield and is an absolute nasty piece of work, but at the same time, a disciplined one.
Nearly as good as Fernandinho in that respect, then, isn't he? So, because he never gets booked. So, but yeah, going on to Luis Diaz, I thought he was excellent today. We've already said, Sri has already said, and everybody in the chat will probably agree as well. He was without a doubt the man of the match today. He was always available. His dribbling skills are a joy. There was that one run in the second half where he took off and I think he had Lamptey with him, and Lamptey just couldn't get. And Lamptey's quick, And I think it was Lamptey. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. He started off in our own half, and he just took off, and you just can't get the ball off him when he's running like that. We saw that in the previous game against Inter. He's just got it. He is I believe our fastest player now. So
Wow.
good luck to Premier League defenders keeping up with him. What else can we say about him? His work in the final third was really good. But what impressed me most about him is the work he does in helping out when we don't have the ball.
Yeah.
And I think that's really crucial, and probably why he's settled in so well, and why he looks like he's been a part of this team for years, is because he understands that, he gets that, he's used to doing that. And you have to do that if you're going to be a part of this Liverpool team. If you're not going to put the work in, you're going to be spotted a mile off. You're going to stand out like a sore thumb. He stands out like a sore thumb for all the right reasons. And it's a joy, I mean, I'd only ever seen him play twice before he signed for us, and they were in the Porto games, obviously, or they're the two games I noticed really. That was just was the last two he played for us, and it was like, wow, he's a baller, isn't he? But I never thought he would be like somebody we would look at. But I'm glad we did.
Absolutely, and on your point about him sticking out like a sore thumb, but in a good way, I challenge that and say he looks like a well manicured thumb.
Oh dear.
That's enough of the girly analysis. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. Cam, well, let's go to the second half, because obviously that was pretty much it. I thought we looked in control. Second half kicks off, and Lallana comes on. Really, really sad, because he literally gets subbed off in like 6 minutes. It looked like an ankle issue for him. And again, in that period, I thought Brighton again, second half started off quite well. I think there was a chance by Tossard, but talk to me about the second half, because it kind of didn't really have an awful lot of rhythm. There's a lot of stop and starting going on.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty similar to the first half in the way it started. That Brighton came out, tried to put a bit of pressure on. They obviously needed a goal. They had to try and get back into the game, and they were trying to catch Liverpool cold. And they could have, but they didn't really. That Trossard chance you talk about, I mean, I think there was a handball in there anyway for the little snide rat up top. So I'm not going to say his name.
I know who you're talking about. We all know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so he handballed it. So, and because it was the handball that would have led to the assist, it would have been called handball. So, then again, it was Stuart Atwell. So, and maybe the goal would have counted then with Stuart Atwell. Obviously, he wouldn't see the handball, would he? But they started well, but we regained control again. We looked so comfortable in that second half, and it's like Sri said, we were in third gear for the whole game. I mean, but Sri, I've got a question for you here. If that was third gear, how many gears do we have?
How do I know? We can switch on to any gear we want. It almost felt like deliberate that we didn't want to push ourselves. That's what it felt like, because we can easily step up when we want to. That's what it looked like. It almost looked like we didn't want to push. I don't know whether it was a tactical decision to not do it, maybe not cede space because they keep the ball, and they have Lamptey, and both their wing backs are quite high and quite rapid as well. Maybe I have no idea whether it was a tactical decision or is it more of fatigue, load management. Maybe the experts can comment, but it almost felt forced in the pace at which the game was going.
It'll be interesting to see how many K they run today as a team, and that'll be a good indicator of how we were managing the load today. Because you're right, it did look like we were playing well. We were playing well within ourselves today, and it's in-game management. It's what you want to see, really, isn't it? You do what needs to be done. You conserve yourselves. and you look forward to the next game, because that will be more intense. There's no doubt about it.
Yep. I think it was managed for the next game. Obviously, it's an away game. Arsenal are one of the form teams, if not the form team. Whether they are actually playing well to deserve those points is a separate discussion by itself. But at least the numbers, the points on both say they are the form team, and it's an away game.
I disagree with that. I disagree that they're the 14. I think we've won eight league games on the trot. I don't think you can get more informed than us right now.
Yeah, but they are also informed. You also need to remember what the base effect where they started with.
But you said the most informed team. That's what I was disagreeing with.
For me, that's what I said. In terms of performance, I don't know. I haven't watched Arsenal at all. In fact, to be honest, I have no idea how they play, except I just bring in the players for FPL. Otherwise, I have no idea what they do. But at least the numbers seems like they are playing well. I have no idea whether we will know soon. I think midweek we will clearly see. But I think this game was managed in preparation for the next game.
The challenge isn't it, basically. Klopp is probably looking at them as more of a challenge because obviously, like you said, like they are probably playing. Well, they're certainly getting the results.
Yeah, the results are there, and I think for us it's critical. We need 6 points. It's not about this game. We need overall the 6 points. So I think he's balanced out the selections. But one thing I wanted to add up the second half, the game practically died when Thiago came in, except the last 5 minutes. I think they had where Alisson, amazing reaction save. I think it was Welbeck who had the shot.
Yep, it was.
Like, really good save. Till that point, the only interesting thing was the Brazilian tango which Alisson did to keep the ball inside the box. Otherwise, there was nothing much of interest happening in the second half, especially after once Thiago came in.
Yeah,
I thought the penalty was quite interesting to get another goal.
Yeah, and you know what? That was really interesting because it was Basuma who just before that got into a little thingy with Naby and his foot was high, so Mike Dean booked him. And then literally on 57 minutes, his arm was up, so the guy can't keep his limbs in check. So there's a penalty. I mean, Kam, I'll come to you because obviously it was an interesting moment for you. So talk to me about that.
It was an interesting moment for all Liverpool fans, let's be honest. Yeah, I mean, Naby obviously has a well-struck shot from the edge of the box. I doubt it was going in it. I can't really tell. I haven't seen an angle to make it that shows me whether it was on target or not. But Basuma's got his arm out. It's high. Thankfully, the VAR check was really quick. There was no issues there. And then it was, what's that now? 12 penalties on the trot now? For the team. So obviously we got 11 a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? So it was a well-struck penalty. You know, I like to see a penalty that goes like an arrow down the middle, and the keeper just diving the other way. So
you know what I like about Mo Salah on penalties? First of all, we know that his record of taking the penalties is absolutely phenomenal, but they're all so different.
Yeah, he mixes it up really well.
Yeah.
So and by doing that, the keeper is not really sure, because you see all these things where the keepers are studying the penalty takers and they get an idea and an inkling, right, he generally likes this side, or he generally likes, middle of the goal or that side, or however.
Sydney, where he got 2 penalties. He picked, I think he picked his right side and then picked the right side again, but lifted it and the keeper went the right way. But I just love the fact that same side, but still that changes up his technique.
That was in the same game as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, but same game. Keeper went the way that he went, where he shot it last time round. So yeah, it's a talent.
It's a skill. It is a skill. I mean, and the pressure is immense. I mean, he was blowing his cheeks before the penalty was being taken. Yeah, but he still looks cool and calm.
He hit the woodwork before that as well. So
Yeah, I mean, that was obviously the deflected shot. I think it came off Lewis Dunk's calf or something. The keeper was beaten, and then Sadio tried a little bit of magic, but wasn't even close. So, which I think pretty much summed up his day, really, the way he played the whole game.
Yeah.
It was one of his quieter performances, to say the least.
Yeah, and what about you, Sri? Anything to say about, I thought that was an easy call. We've got a few comments there about that. Lubo just reminding us that, potentially Basuma could have got a second yellow there, but Mike Dean took pity on him again. We're highlighting the fact that rules are being ignored because of the circumstances. Your thoughts on that whole situation, Sri?
So, I think as Kam said, that was a well taken shot. It wasn't well directed by any means. It was never going to go in unless the goal was near the byline. It wasn't going to go in. I have no. But yeah, again, in this case, they applied the rules, and I'm assuming it was a quick VAR check, which made it even more surprising. It was just a straight application of rule. Handball. I believe it's unnatural position penalty. I think the first one, which the Sanchez one is not given, is same thing. Violent conduct, dangerous play, red card. The same thing. You need to apply the rules. That's all. No need to make a judgmental call. Which is what just puts me off now. Even with VAR, is like you have no idea what's going to happen. It's like we don't know whether they don't know the rules or they know the rules. They're choosing not to apply it. We have no idea. It's almost like they're drawing it out of the lot, saying, okay, yeah, let's give this one, let's not give this one. I have no idea what's happening. I believe there was someone who I think they have commented saying there was no clear evidence. I don't know whether this is true. I'm just reading what I'm seeing, that Stuart Atwell was unable to find any clear evidence that Sanchez made any contact with the angles. I don't know whether this is even true, but I've seen something of this, which, I mean, there are enough angles to show it was a red card. I don't know unless what they're even talking about. I think they're making up excuses now. But in terms of the penalty, especially with Salah, initially it used to be Salah also has this particular school where you literally think he's going to miss. But now I've gotten used to this. The fact that, it almost always starts with feeling like he's going to miss, but he's literally never going to miss. And he uses literally all the 6 squares in the goal. His variations is unbelievable. It almost every time I almost try to play this guessing him. Okay, he's going far right, lower corner, but most likely I never get it ever right. And me being a keeper, I try to imagine what he would go. With Mo, I can never ever guess which quarter. Even today, I was thinking he's going to go to the keeper's right. He went bang down the middle. So he is one who uses all 6 squares. It just makes it really difficult. It's not even like there's a sequence. Even if he has variations, there is no pattern in terms of repeating it, say, for a while, or in terms of match situations or something. It's almost like it's random, and I don't know whether he decides himself up front or it just while his run up he takes it, because it's very difficult. I can say as a keeper, very difficult to judge where he's going to go because of his sheer randomness and his ability to use all the 6 boxes in the goal.
Yeah. I have to agree with that. It's literally no idea where he's going to put that ball. But just so calm from the spot, and great to see him score again, and hopefully he can score one from open play against Arsenal. No pressure, Mosla, not that you crumble to it. Right, guys. Sri, you kind of spoke about Alisson there. He almost had a moment. I don't think he really had a moment. A great muscle memory from him to keep the ball inside the box despite his limbs all being outside of them. And of course, I thought Mike Dean got the linesman, and everyone got that one spot on. And it could never go to VAR anyway.
I have no idea. I was actually worried it was going to go to VAR because I couldn't find, at least in my feed, they showed no angle whether he actually did go out for a fleeting moment before. Like it's like in cricket, that's what they do. If people who watch cricket, the batsman puts the bat up indicating he got the ball, he nicked the ball indicating for an LBW. It's almost like he indicated, it's actually inside the box. But I had a fleeting moment. It looked like he was actually out of the box with the ball. But he ended up, and I think there is no angle which can prove it. So I think obviously, even if it would have gone to VAR, maybe unless they came up with their own angle at that point of time, I don't think it's some difficult. But Alisson, in terms just the sheer number of times he keeps us in the game. Okay, this game maybe we considered one, we still win the game, but the sheer nature of high value chances he is able to save, I think he must be the best in the league in terms of what are the XG actuals versus the potential XGC. I think he must be the best in terms of like. There's no chance the amount of saves he makes in those tight situations. I think it's unbelievable. So again, a solid clean sheet again.
It was a solid clean sheet. And Kam, I'm guessing you watched it same as me, BT Sport. And initially, VAR does give me anxiety. I'm not going to lie. I did for a second think, is it going to go to VAR? But Peter Bolton there, resting my nerves, reassuring us that, nope, it does not need to go to VAR because it wasn't really a goal scoring opportunity. It wasn't, thingy. So, your thoughts on just Alisson in general, because I did freak out for a minute, I'm not going to lie. And I think sometimes even, watching the game for so long, you do kind of stress out that, referees and officials kind of cave to, the support pressure, and player pressure.
Yeah, I mean, it's, Alisson is, for me, is possibly the best goalkeeper in the world. And he shows that week in, week out with his performances, his one-on-one saves ratio. It's unbelievable. It's phenomenal the way he performs there. And that save from Welbeck today, granted it was straight at him, and it's a save you expect him to make, because. He didn't really have to do much. A couple of yards either side, it's a goal, because of the distance and the power and the pace it was going at. But because it was straight at him, it's a comfortable save for him. What I like about Alisson is he's no drama.
Yeah.
He's not trying to do the spectacular with anything he does. And when I say that, I mean, when he makes a save, and say it's he's parrying a shot, for example, he's parrying it into a safe area more often than not. It's very rare he parries the ball back into a dangerous area to give the opposition another opportunity. And that is a fantastic ability to be able to do that. So we've got one of the best goalkeepers in the world, possibly the best goalkeeper in the world. We're lucky to have him. We're fortunate to have him. And him with VVD and Fabinho, and then your Mo Salahs and your Manes, you've got a wonderful, wonderful spine in that team, and we're blessed to have them. We're really lucky. I mean, I think if you look at all round now, the whole squad, the way it's evolved and developed, and what we have now, we're up there with the best in Europe and the best in the world in terms of the players we have available to us. I mean, teams fear us, genuinely fear us. There's few weaknesses in that team now. When you have your best available 11 playing, and then you look at the quality you have available to come off the bench as well. I mean, look at our bench today. The options we had: Jota, Thiago, Bobby, Tsimikas, Joe Gomez. These are all starters everywhere else. I mean, Joe Gomez is the best English centre-back, and he's our fourth choice centre-back.
Mm-hmm.
That tells you everything.
This is why
I was going to say, yeah. So I'm a happy bunny.
Good, and we like that. And you know what? Because this is live podcasting, I just want listeners to know that my brother literally just walked in with a Mr. Whippy's ice cream, and I refused it and sent him away because I'm professional and I don't eat on the job. So just so you know, I did not get my sugar fix. Sad day. It's gone away. Kam, I'm going to come to you. Let's talk about the subs on 64 minutes, which is like clockwork for Jurgen Klopp, and we're talking about the quality. It is so great that you can take off Salah. There was a slight scare with him. Luckily, it doesn't look too serious, but takes off Salah and Naby, brings on Thiago and Jota. I like that because, like you guys alluded to there, this is where I felt that the control came, real control came in terms of literally just took the sting out of the game, if there was any.
Sorry, is that me?
Yeah, said Kam.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
I missed the Kam bit. I do apologise.
I lost you on the ice cream, innit? You were fantasizing about the
Yeah,
ice
no,
cream.
I was thinking. Honestly, I was thinking Ben and Jerry's then straight away, and that's all that was going through my mind for your question.
We
Then.
know you like a dessert. We know you like a dessert.
I'd love a dessert. Yeah, I mean, I'd rather talk about desserts now than the end of the game and Jota coming on, because I thought Jota was pants. To be honest, I thought he did absolutely nothing. And he hasn't scored for 6 games now, so that's a little bit of a worry for me. We need Jota firing and making a nuisance of himself. He showed willingness, but he just didn't really seem to have an impact in the game at all for me. But great option to have coming off the bench.
Yeah, like you said, enjoy this moment of the Reds where they have quality on the bench. Sri, come to you. 64 minutes, Klopp makes those changes. Your thoughts on that? I felt there wasn't an awful lot going on. It was just, I think we were watching it as Liverpool fans, just quite calm and composed.
Yeah, I think, as I said, once Thiago came in, the game just died literally until the last, say, 5-7 minutes. We absolutely controlled the game. There was literally, it's as uneventful as you can get, and which is what you want in such games. You want no drama. You're 2-0 up, you have to play 90 minutes, get the 90 minutes done. I think it was perfectly fine. Yes, Jota hasn't scored. I don't know whether he's actually fit. He keeps coming in and out. I have no idea whether he's actually fit. So I'm hoping he's had a tremendous season. I think we are all taken in by obviously Salah. I think 4th season now, 20 goals. I think that's what I heard now. 4th season in a row with 20 goals. But we are taken in by Salah. But I think Jota is the second, or at least used to be second. I've not followed football much. But so let's not take away that. And I think it's sooner than later he's going to score. And again, we have 5 options. Nobody's going to play 3 games in a row. Everybody's max going to get 2 games that are going to be enough. That is a position we are comfortable enough to rotate, because the options are almost equal in terms of what they can provide. Like Mane down the center, you have now Firmino who can play. Then Mane on the left, Jota can play on the left. Luis is firmly on the left and Salah is firmly on the right. Those are the only 2 people who are kind of more or less fixed. So I think most people are going to get 2 games, or say they're going to get 150 minutes maybe out of 180. And third game they're going to come off the bench maybe. So I think nothing much to worry. It's as uneventful as you could hope for, and it's good to have such games.
Yeah, I like that as well. I don't want it to be interesting and exciting all the time. So all I really do care about is the 3 points. And to me, this was a very, very professional kind of performance, just seeing it out, just absorbing their very little pressure and then just dealing with it, because overall we were definitely the better side in terms of what we produced, and we just looked calm and composed throughout. And I do agree with Sri that I think that we will be more I think we're going to be more involved in a battle with Arsenal, and maybe Jurgen Klopp is looking at that. And I do have a question, actually, and I'm going to ask you, and it is from You'll Never Walk Alone Foodie. And Sri, I'm going to stick to you. What do the panel think Klopp will address about today's game and how they can improve upon it?
So, improve from this performance?
Yeah.
I think it was controlled by design. I think it's going to be something different. Each team brings its own challenge. I think, obviously, Arsenal are kind of going to do the same. They also they keep the ball under Arteta. They do press. Saka is a danger, Lacazette. But we also know what they are going to do. It's predictable in terms of what they will try to do. Obviously, they bring in their own things to address. But I wouldn't say we had problems that we needed to address. So I think it's, again, as I said, the team is going to change. I am assuming Thiago is going to play, Fabinho is going to play. I think still Henderson is going to play. The back 4 are going to play. Up front, I think Bobby starts. Maybe Bobby, Jota, and I don't know if Salah, I have no news whether the way he indicated, it sounded to me that he indicated it was some kind of a contact injury. He kept tapping both his hands together. And I believe it was before the penalty. So there's some contact injury. That's what I interpreted it as. So I think if it's not serious, I think he starts. Jota has been in good form against Arsenal, and Bobby could start and say Diaz and Mane come off the bench. So for me, it's just a different challenge we need to address. I wouldn't say we need to improve, because I think this is as controlled as you can hope for against a team like Brighton, who pose different challenges in terms of off the ball and on the ball. They bring in, and I think it's also kind of, you could say, a practice game you wanted in terms of Arsenal. Not necessarily saying they play the same way, but they also like to press and close down. They're happy keeping the ball. They have good skilled players. They have some pace, not necessarily from wing backs, but from wider players. They do have Martinelli and Saka playing on either wings. I think it's a good precursor in terms of the kind of setup they'll do or the kind of tactics we could encounter. So I would say not improve in sense. It's more of tuning ourselves to what Arsenal could do.
I think that's fair. And Lubo there as well. I'm just going through the chat. This was the game where you control an early 1-0 lead, don't overcommit, don't take unnecessary risks, pick your chances, which is pretty wise considering we're still, we're still in Champions League. We're obviously challenging for the league and of course the FA Cup as well. Kam, anything you'd like to say about You Never Walk Alone Foodies comments there about how we could potentially improve upon?
Possibly. It's a good question, actually, because I felt today was as good a performance you'll see in the context of what we needed to do in a game of football, in that it was as professional performance as you'll see. So maybe just creating a few more opportunities. We didn't really... I know we had about 16, 18 shots on goal, but the shots that we did have, they didn't really make you think, oh, wow, what a save from the keeper. It's only because the keeper produced some magic, something like that. It was just a functional performance today. Whereas I think against Arsenal, we're going to need to be really clinical, because it is Arsenal. It's at the Emirates. There's 60,000 people there. It's going to be a great atmosphere. You've got to bring your A game. So we will have to go up a few more gears in that respect. We're going to have to cut out the few sloppy passes. There were some sloppy passes today. I mean, Naby made a few, Joel made a couple. Sadio, again, his first touch was poor, so I don't expect to see Sadio starting on Wednesday. I think he'll be one of the changes I alluded to earlier. I don't think Hendo will start on Wednesday either. I think, again, his minutes are being managed as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't start.
Anyway, I prefer him off the bench.
I do. These last few games where he's come off the bench, he's had a lot more energy, and he's had a lot more impact in what he's been able to do. Then, so again, it's a question of you've got to manage the midfielders' minutes. That's why games are won and lost for me. You win the midfield battle, you tend to win the games. That's what I've always said. So.
Yep.
And then I expect Thiago to start, not Naby. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Elliott come in for Hendo and Thiago for Naby. And then I forgot that's Mo had gone off early today. So if Mo's possibly not 100%, and he'll say, yeah, I want to play. But you've got three players who can comfortably slot in Jota, Bobby, and Diaz. Bring Mo and Mane on if you need to at 60 minutes. It's not a bad option to come off the bench, is it? The best player in the world and another world-class player.
Not indeed. It's not indeed. What a wonderful time to be a Liverpool fan. Sorry.
Yeah, Nina, just one thing I wanted to add, which I believe we have not alluded to at all. I don't know if the Saturday early kickoff is a factor. I know Klopp doesn't like it at all. And I don't know whether the sluggishness is also due to the different schedule, because he's alluded to the fact that 12:30 needs its own routine by itself. And we had a midweek as well. It needs a midweek, which was a late evening kickoff. And we have had an early kickoff. He's particularly not in favor of early kickoffs at all. So I don't know whether that played a factor. Just wanted to put that in.
Is actually a very, really good shout because from previous Liverpool performances, Liverpool don't normally do well with the early kickoff, so they'll always look fatigued and things like that. So yeah, definitely something to take.
We have got a really good record though lately in
I know,
early kickoffs.
Which is freaks me out. I just think I wasn't a morning person, so literally I just wake up, have a second to myself, and then. But now, obviously, I'm an early riser. I'm up at 5 every morning, discipline. So I actually enjoy the 12:30s because now I've got the whole weekend to just kind of not let the Reds ruin it for me.
Well, let's be honest, they don't ruin it very often, do they?
No, they don't. They haven't actually. They've not ruined it in a very, very long time. And even when they lose, they don't really ruin it. But guys, no, I think that's a really interesting point, Sri, that you mentioned about the early kickoff there on Saturday. Right, guys, I think we've come to the end of the pod. Is there anything you want to kind of discuss before we move on to man of the match? I know where we're all going to go, but we've got to do it for the formality of doing it. Kam, anything from the game?
No. Like I said, I'm just a happy bunny. I couldn't have asked for any more today, really, in terms of what we need to do. Clean sheet, 2 goals. A 3rd goal would have been the icing on the cake, I think. But no, I'm, like I say, happy bunny. Roll on Easter. Get me Easter egg.
Yeah, I'll come to Sri in a minute. I've just got some little comments here. Lubo there. I like the control today. Just needed to get more scoring again. Hopefully the goal helped. Could have created more chances with the final pass rather than a shot. Moore and Lewis, yep, of course, when Moore went on the counter. And, you never walk alone. Foodie there saying true. He could see Klopp going mad when he didn't make a pass. Yeah, and I think that was has been a slight issue. It's just the quality, the final pass. But I'm sure they'll figure that out. Shri, anything from the game? Some takeaways? Anything you want to say?
Nothing much. Only that the Klopp going mad. I think Mo was right to ask to who. There was literally no one he could pass it. I think for a change, this time he was right to go for the shot. So that's the only thing which we didn't address. Otherwise, quite content, professional performance. Just take the game away and control the game, hold the way around, move on to the weak game.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what, Shri, whilst I'm there, and I'm going to stick with you, who was your man of the match? I know the answer, but we need to just get it on record.
Yeah, Luis Diaz, obviously. If you want me, I can vote Bobby Firmino for the next game. It's Arsenal.
I knew that was coming. Just to be edgy and, just going to put it out there, I think Roberto Firmino was man of the match. What a performance today. We don't get them 3 points without him sat on that bench.
It was literally a no-look performance, right?
It was Yep, it was a no-look performance by Roberto Firmino. Kam, over to you.
Match Jim coming on and not fucking up anything. So, no, in all seriousness, Luis Diaz, no doubt, standout player today.
Absolutely, I echo that. Being edgy there, Shri, he's fallen off his chair. Guys, thank you so much. I think we've come to the end of the podcast. I've really enjoyed coming this game with these two excellent gents. We've come to the end of this podcast. A massive thank you to everyone to our 2 callers. A massive thank you to everyone that joined us live and have been interacting with us on Discord. If you're new listeners, get onto our Discord community. It is phenomenal. Please join us. It's a nice, harmonious place for most parts. It always is, actually. And to these 2 excellent gents, before I let them go, I want to get their plugs and where you can find them on social media. Shri, where can people find more of you?
Yeah, on Twitter, I don't post regularly. I'm very rarely seen nowadays, but if you do follow me, it's at Shrikant Bala.
Give him a follow. He is excellent. He's awesome. And Kam, what about you? Something to plug. I'm sure there's something to plug. And where can people find you on social media?
You'll find me most weeks on the main AI pod with Tread Downey and the teacher. The strict disciplinarian in Lisa Marie. She's keeping me and Trev firmly in check, as you can imagine. Please step off the plane. I don't know why she keeps saying that, because we're not on a plane. But there you go. Social media, you'll find me on Twitter at Kam Braintree.
Also give Kam a follow as well. Another excellent follow. And do check out the main AI pod. It is excellent. 3 amazing people talking about the Reds and, and just other random stuff as well. So yeah, do check out that pod. There's loads of great content for you on Anfield Index right now. Do check all of it out. There'll be some great content coming your way. Raw. There'll be a rival recon, of course, for the Arsenal game. There'll be an Under Pressure hit coming to you soon. A Mulby on the spot. And just loads of other great content. I myself did Euro Incision, spoke with my awesome co-host Themis about Europe and got some great insight into Lewandowski's eating habits. So if you want to be mean, just give it a listen and see what he eats and how he eats it. Kam, I'll give you a spoiler alert. He eats his dessert first, and he has been doing for many, many years. So there you go, people.
That's why I've been going wrong in the gym.
Yeah, he eats his dessert first. I was like,
perfect.
Hey, right, good to know. Right, guys, thank you so much for listening. Take care, enjoy your weekend. Until next time, up the Reds.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.